Welcome, everyone, to our 21st annual Black Family Technology Awareness Day. While I am very sorry that we cannot be together in person, Rensselaer Polytechnic Institute is the kind of place where we look upon challenges as opportunities. And because we are virtual, we have been able to expand our program to many more students of all ages around the country and across the globe. I'm so glad that all of you are here with us. I must begin by thanking Mr. John Wexler, our Vice President for Enrollment Management, and Dr. Lee McElroy Jr., Associate Vice President and Director of Athletics, for putting together our event. I thank all of the parents, guardians, teachers, and mentors who are joining us. To our students, clearly there are adults in your lives who support your interests in math and science the same way that the adults in my life supported my interests when I was a child. For example, when I was in middle school, my father helped me to build and race go-karts. I learned a lot about the principles of mechanics and aerodynamics from this experience, since I quickly figured out that the skill of the go-kart driver was less important at that time than the aerodynamic design of the vehicle. My family even tolerated my capturing live bumblebees from around our backyard. I kept them in mason jars under our back porch so that I could observe how they behaved and what they ate under different conditions, such as the relative amount of light and darkness they were exposed to over the course of a day. And today, we would say that I was doing experiments in circadian biology, which refers to the chemical clocks inside our cells that respond to cycles of light and dark during a 24-hour day. Our circadian clocks control when we feel sleepy, when we feel alert, when we digest our food, and much more. 3 weeks from now, when most of us in the United States set our kitchen and other clocks forward an hour for daylight saving time, you probably will feel a little groggy for a few days. So it will not surprise you to learn that circadian biology is an important area of research because disruptions in circadian rhythms affect human health. I'm sure that as your education progresses, you too will discover the things that particularly interest you in nature, in math, or in the way that things are constructed or built. The theme for our program today is STEM, solving life's problems. You will find that the students here at Rensselaer Polytechnic Institute work alongside their professors on the very hardest of problems. Among them, of course, is our current COVID-19 pandemic, which they are addressing by working to identify drugs that can help those infected, inventing a machine to sterilize face masks using light, creating data tools that allow us to visualize, understand, and mitigate the spread of the virus, and even developing digital games to teach people about preventing infections. As you can see, there are many angles from which to attack a problem, and our students are always ready to apply their unique skills to every situation. Because of their education in science and engineering, which is the application of scientific principles to design or build things or systems, our students are not overwhelmed by the size and complexity of issues. Another great problem Rensselaer people are working on in many different ways is limiting the climate change or the effects of climate change provoked by the burning of fossil fuels. Some of you will be building wind turbines today, which generate electricity without carbon emissions. The automotive industry is very interested in ways to electrify vehicles so that we can use that clean energy instead of gasoline. We are very proud that one of our former students, Dr. R.J. Scaringe of the class of 2005, has founded an automotive company called Rivian, which is about to begin producing electric pickup trucks and SUVs. We even have a research center at Rensselaer that we call MOVE, the Center for Mobility for Vertical Lift, that is working on electric helicopters. Another great challenge is securing enough fresh water for a growing global population. With something we call the Jefferson Project, our students and their professors in many different fields are pioneering a new scientific and technological model to protect freshwater systems. Starting with Lake George, an hour north of our Troy campus, we make lakes smart by equipping them with sensor platforms that measure in real time the factors that influence water quality. We then use computing and visualization technologies to help us to understand the massive amounts of information being generated, to guide future experiments, and to develop insights. Here is one of those insights. Rensselaer professors and students have been examining the influence of the salt used to de-ice the roads around lakes in winter, which can contaminate the water. Our researchers have found that when developing tadpoles are exposed to road salt, a certain proportion of the females will become male. Others of the females will be smaller than usual. This does not bode well if we hope frog populations to thrive in the long term, because the females are the ones that give birth, so there will be fewer frogs in the next generations. The Jefferson Project includes Rensselaer students whose interests lie in game design, the electronic arts, and music. Collaborating with biologists and programmers, they created a touch pool installation called The World of Plankton. Plankton are the tiny creatures that drift in lakes and oceans. In importance, however, they are very large because they are at the very base of the food web that feeds every other aquatic creature. And plant plankton, known as phytoplankton, produce at least half of the oxygen in our atmosphere. With the World of Plankton, students like you are able to explore the life beneath the surface of the water. The workshops you will be participating in today are intended to help you start solving life's problems and to discover how enjoyable and rewarding that is. Whether the problem is saving the world's turtles from plastic pollution or using marshmallows to understand how to build structures strong enough to withstand great forces, or testing and modeling drag so that you can design aerodynamic vehicles just as I did in childhood, but even better. We say to all of our students here at Rensselaer, why not change the world? That seems like a very large thing to ask of them, but we know that young people do have the power to change the world. We know that you have that power. And if you think we might be trying to recruit you to come to Rensselaer in a few years, you are absolutely right. We're always looking for excellent students. Beyond that, the world needs you to think deeply about the great challenges around you and to develop the tools that will allow you to make a difference and to improve lives. So I hope you enjoy your explorations today and that they inspire you to many more adventures. Thank you. Now, please allow me to introduce you to someone else who loved math and science as a young student. He went on to earn a degree in mechanical and industrial engineering from Clarkson University here in New York, and he has used this education to engineer a better nation and a better world as a leader in government. Congressman Paul Tonko represents New York's 20th Congressional District, which includes Troy, Albany, Schenectady, Saratoga Springs, and Amsterdam. He serves on the powerful Energy and Commerce Committee in the U.S. House of Representatives, chairing the Subcommittee on Environment and Climate Change. He also serves on the Committee on Natural Resources and the Science, Space, and Technology Committee. He is one of the most enthusiastic advocates in our nation for STEM education, as well as for clean energy technologies, for the protection of fresh water resources, and for investments in groundbreaking research in science and engineering. Before being elected to Congress, Congressman Tonko was the president and CEO of the New York State Energy Research and Development Authority, and as such, an important partner for Rensselaer. Before that, he was a member of the New York State Legislature for 25 years. Please join me in welcoming Congressman Paul Tonko.